Hi guys, in our previous video we have discussed about how to set up our React Native project using Expo. So in this video I'm going to explain you some basic React Native components. So as you guys know, this is the default file coming from React Native. So here as you can see we are having text, status bar and then view. So for now let me remove the status bar. So here as you can see we are having a view. So view is just like a div in HTML. So in HTML we use div for displaying some block of content, right? As so in React Native Vue is just like a div, so it will show some block of code. So now let me show my UI. So currently this is the UI, right? So as you can see, the text is the text is visible at the center of the web page. So do you know how it is coming at the center of the web page? Let me show you. Let me explain you. So the text is came at center because of these styles. See here we are setting flex one, which will occupy the entire web page, and background color white. Because of that, it came as a white. Even if we remove this, it will come as white as React Native applies background color as white as default. And we have set this align items to be centered, which will center our content vertically. And this justify content center will make our view centered horizontally. So as you can see here, we have given styles.container, which are these styles. So to create styles, we need to use this style sheet API. As you can see, this style sheet API is coming from React Native. So inside this API, we have a function called create. So in this create function, we will return all our styles. So here, as you can see, this container is just like an object in the JavaScript. See, this is the object structure in JavaScript, right? So inside this, we're going to write all our styles in camel case letters. So if we don't use this camel case, the styles will not be applied. So here, as you can see, we have applied this container object to this view. So because of that, this text content, this is my React Native first project, is came at centered. So now this text is another component which will show us some text. So now let me explain another component called status bar. So let me import status bar. So the status bar component will show the status bar in the mobile. So status bar means let me show you the UI. So here as you can see I'm getting time and the Wi-Fi and the battery percentage in the status bar, right? So that is the status bar. So we can change the styles of the status bar using React Native. Now let me show you the code. So here inside the status bar we have a prop called background color. So let me use this and let's enter violet. So now if I save this code, see the status bar of the background color is changed from white to violet because we have given background color violet in our status bar component. So we can even hide the status bar using a prop called hidden. So let me show the code again. So here inside the status bar component we have another prop called hidden. So if we give this hidden is equals to, so this hidden prop accepts boolean values either true or false. So if we given true here, then status bar will be hidden. Now let me show you the UI again. So now as you can see, we are not getting status bar because we have given hidden is equals to true. So because of that, the status bar in my mobile is not showing. So this is another basic component. Now let me explain you another component in the React Native. So the another basic component in React Native is text input. So let me import text input from React Native. Otherwise it will throw error. So this text input in React Native is just like a input tag in HTML. So inside this text input, we can give a default placeholder like enter a name. So now if I show you the UI, it will come like this. As you can see here, it is only showing me the enter a name, which is we have given as a placeholder. So as you can see, we are not getting any border as React Native does not give any default border for the text input field. So let's apply some styles. To apply styles for our text input component, we can simply create a object name. So since we are going to apply styles for text input, let's give the object name as input styles. So inside this, you have to give colon and curly braces. So inside this, first I'm going to write border width. So I want to set the border width for our text input as 2, and then I'm going to give border color like this property. Let's give the border color as a gray inside this inverted commas, and then let's give some width for our input. Let's give some 300 width. So now we have successfully written the styles for our text input field, but we have not given this input styles for our text input component. So to give it, we have to use the style prop, and then our input styles is inside in our styles variable. So first we have to write styles, and then we have to give our object name, which is input styles. So now this input styles will be applied for this text input component. Now let me show you the UI. So now if you see, we get the border, gray border color for our text input. So now if I type something inside this input field, I want to show that value below the text input. So for that, to capture the value entered by user, we need to use useState. So if you know React, I think you guys know about useState hook. So let's give the state variable name as user input and a setter function to change the user input variable. So let's give the function name as set user input. So we need to import this useState hook from React. So initially, let's give it as an empty value. So I want to give, I want to store the value entered by user inside this user input variable. So now here I can simply use value prop, and then here I'm going to give it as user input. So now whatever value entered by user inside this input, that will be stored inside this user input variable. So now when user types something inside this text input field, we need to call this setter function, and inside this we have to set the text which is entered by user. So for that, we can simply use another prop called onChange text, which is given by React Native. So inside this, you can simply call the set user input function. So now, sorry guys, we have to give set user input. So now, whenever user enters something inside this text input, the set user input function will be called, and the set user input function will make this user input value as the text entered by user. So now below this text input, I want to show the value which is entered by user inside this input. So for that, we can simply use text component, and inside this, we can simply give this user input variable. So now let me show you the UI. So now if I enter something here like patience coder, as you can see, it is showing below the text input, which is entered by me. So here as you can see, whatever I'm writing here, it is getting displayed below the text input. So now let me explain you another component in React Native. The another component in React Native is button. So now, for now, let me remove these components, and here I'm going to write button. So let me import this button from React Native, and it is a self-closing tag. So I'm going to close this here. So, so to give a title for the button, we need to use a prop called title. So inside this title, whatever you written in this title, that will come as a button. So here I'm going to write as click. So now if I open the UI, as you can see here, we got a button with content click. So after clicking on this click button, I want to display some message like button clicked. So for that, we have to use a function called onPress. So in JavaScript, so in HTML, we have a function called onClick, right? But in React Native button, we have a function called onPress. So this onPress function will be triggered whenever we click on this button. So on pressing this, I want to display a console message like button clicked. So let me open the command prompt. So let me reload the app by using R keyword. So from my mobile, I'm clicking on the click button. So as you can see here, we are getting button clicked, right? So I'm clicking again from my mobile on the click button. As you can see, it is showing button clicked. Sorry for not showing the UI and code beside guys, because we can we can show the UI beside this code, but currently currently my laptop is not supporting Android Studio, so it is getting stuck when I try to use Android Studio. That's why I am showing you the UI from my mobile instead of virtual device manager. We can create virtual device manager using Android Studio, but my laptop is not supporting. That's why I'm using my original mobile to show you the UI. So now as you can see, whenever I click button from my mobile, it is showing button clicked. So now at this title, I'm going to write it as get my channel name. So I want to display my channel name after clicking on this get my channel name button. So inside this on press, let me remove this function. For now, let me remove this prop as well. So now I want to display my channel name after user clicks on this get my channel name button. So here we're going to use another component called model. So inside this model, I'm going to use the text component, and inside this, I'm going to write my channel name. My channel name is Patience Coder. So I want to display this text after user clicks on this get my channel name button. So for that, we need to maintain a state. So here I'm going to write a variable as show channel name and a setter function which is set show channel name. So initially it will be false. So we need to pass this show channel name variable to this model so that it will display this text inside this model component based on this show channel name variable. So here inside the model we have a prop called visible. So inside this visible I'm going to pass this show channel name variable. So now the content inside this model variable will only be displayed in UI whenever this show channel name value will be true. So now here inside this button component, I'm going to write on press. So whenever user clicks on this get my channel name button, I want to show my channel name. So inside this on press, I'm going to write a function like get channel name. So now let me write this function here, function get channel name. So whenever user click on this get my channel name button, I'm going to call this get channel name function, and inside this get channel name function, I'm going to call this set show channel name state setter function, and I'm going to make this show channel name variable value from false to true. So now let me save the changes. So now let me show you the UI. So here as you can see, we got the button with content get my channel name because as we have given get my channel name as a title for our button component. So now as you can see, currently my channel name is not showing, but whenever I click on this get my channel name button, it will show my channel name. So now let me click on this. As you can see, we got the content which is inside the model. So inside the model we have written this text my channel name is Patience Coder, right? As you can see, now it came. So as you can see, we don't have any back button to show our home page, which is so inside our home page we have written our button, right, get my channel name. But here if I click on this back button, it is not redirecting me to the previous page, because for that we need routing concept. So I'm going to explain you that routing concept in our next video. So for now let me go to the previous page by using reload button, by using R button from command prompt. So if I click on R from my laptop, it will reload the app. So as you can see, now we got the button name which is written in our app.js file, which is our home page. So if I click on this get my channel name, as you can see, it is showing my channel name is Patience Coder. But as you can see, there are no animation styles are applied while redirecting the user to the reveal the channel name. So to add an animation effect, we can simply use a prop called animation type. So let me show you the code. So here inside this model we have a prop called animation type. So inside this I'm going to give the value as slide. By giving this animation type is equal to slide, whenever user clicks on this get my channel name button, this model will come from bottom to top with some animation. Now let me show you the UI. So now if I click on this get my channel name, you can see it came from bottom to top. The model is came from top to bottom to top after we have written animation type prop in model. So that is the use of animation type prop. So the another React Native component I want to show you is activity indicator. So this activity indicator is a loading. So when we write this activity indicator, it will display a loading in our UI. So now let me show you the UI. So here, as you can see below the get my channel name button, we got a small loading indicator because we have written activity indicator in our code. So I will explain you about routing concept in our next video. That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.